Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome back to the Lions franchise here on the channel as we wind down Season 3. As let's just recap last episode. So we were on a 6-game losing streak before we decided to turn the reins over to young quarterback Anthony Ying. And what he did, well, he went on a 2-game win streak, getting us back to 500. But we are trailing behind the Bears in the division. They are 8-5-1. So really all they have to do is win one game and they are in the playoffs, and that will essentially eliminate us because the rest of the NFC is pretty clumped together. So Anthony Ying, looking at him, he's 61 overall, star development, but I just still think that we need another quarterback on this roster going into next season. I don't know if it's through the draft, free agency, we'll have to see. But before hopping into this next game, I actually did notice something before actually starting the game. Rich Patton, our first round pick at number 12 overall, he ends up being a superstar X Factor. We didn't see this because we were just kind of, actually, you know what? He was hurt to start the season. So he was hurt for like the first 4 games, remember? And then he was healthy. And now he finally gets his dev unlocked and his superstar X Factor. So now we have 2 on our squad. So in this first game, I actually did play this game, but something actually happened with the Elgato recorder, so it did not record the game. I believe that was my fault anyway, but looking at the Ravens, they actually have a pretty good offense. Marquise Brown, and they also still have Mark Ingram at running back, but Marquise Brown is at 87 overall, 97 speed, and number 18 in the league. They are just explosive. So that game, we actually end up winning this game, and I'm kind of mad I did mess up that recording because it was a really good game. Went into overtime and everything. But one thing happened at the end of this game. Let me know if this actually happened to you. At the end of overtime, or maybe regulation for you guys, I had an opportunity to kick a game-winning field goal. Now, when I lined up to kick this field goal, it was about a minute or so left in the game, and all of a sudden the kicking meter just disappeared. It just literally disappeared. It wasn't there. So I kicked the field goal and missed it. I was upset. I thought Madden definitely just cost me our season, cost me the game. So then I missed the field goal, and then what do you know it? Lamar Jackson scrambles on the next play of offense, and then he fumbles. So we get the ball right back. So then we get back in the same exact scenario with the game-winning field goal, and the meter's gone again. But this time, I literally just guessed, and I hit the field goal this time, and we end up winning this game by 3 points. And looking at the game that Lamar Jackson had, only had 144 yards passing. I mean, our secondary played a really good game in that one. So that win brings us to 8-7. Look at this, the Bears. They lost that last game, so they moved to 8-6. So now we have a chance to actually win this division. With a win and with the Bears loss, I believe we will win the division. I'm not really sure. But we do have a couple of upgrades going into the last week of the season. Travis Etienne and Anthony Ying actually get an upgrade. Etienne's at 76 overall. He's progressing pretty well in his rookie season. Now, speaking of progressing, Jelani Tavai, this is his third season. He's gone up from 68 overall to 77. That's a 10 overall difference pretty much. And wow, I mean, what a big jump it's been for him. And I think that these two, Rich Patton and also Jelani Tavai, are going to be the anchors on this defense because, I mean, it's not every day you get a superstar X Factor outside linebacker and also a budding star in Jelani Tavai, who's easily going to lead this team in tackles once again. Now, I think we have a decision to make in the offseason with running back because we have Kennedy Brooks, who has yet to really play at all this season, but he's a hidden dev trait guy, and he's at 76 overall already. And wow, I mean, what a steal we got in the 7th round drafting him. And then Deontay Burnett does get an upgrade, and he's just more of a depth guy. So next game, we will be going against the Arizona Cardinals. They only have 1 star on their team, and that's Chandler Jones. And look at us, we have 4 now. Rich Patton ends up being that superstar X Factor, which is amazing. I'm actually wondering if, I don't think they earn it during the season, but I'm wondering if he maybe was a star and then all of a sudden his play kind of elevated him to superstar X Factor. I guess I'll have to look at his progression. So let's start this game out here on the road, the last game of the season. Here we are, giving it off to Travis Etienne That's going to be a gain of a couple. We're bringing it to a 3rd and inches right away on offense. Here's a big run up the middle. That's a big hole. And our offensive line is blocked pretty good for our running attack, and that is a big first down. So after losing a couple yards on first down, here's Anthony Ying at the 10-yard line. He's going to scramble out there. He's got speed to get to the pylon, and that is a touchdown for Ying. And this isn't really a part of his game that's the biggest part, but he can run a little bit. He's got upper 70 speed, and if he gets out of the pocket, he might take off and get a nice gain. So here's Arizona on offense. Here's a handoff. This time David Johnson gets through a huge hole. I mean, just huge on that one, and he gets to the 34-yard line. So now here's a throw out to the left side. This time Christian Kirk breaks a tackle from Tracy Walker. No, I have not changed his number yet. I'm going to do it after I'm done recording this. And he gets a first down as they make it to about the 24-yard line. Another handoff. This time David Johnson is off to the right side. He's got a gain of 6. So now 3rd and 4. Here is Murray. No pressure. Here's a throw to left side, and that's caught that time on the outside. I do not know who that is. Is that Isabella? Yeah, I think it is. So now they're inside the 5-yard line. Here's a handoff. This time David Johnson gets stopped that time by Sampson in the backfield. And now they get it to a 3rd and goal at the 5. Kyler Murray, nobody to throw it to. He's going to take off. And look at that speed. He just straight flies past Jelani Tavai. I tried my best to make that tackle, but Kyler Murray is in for the touchdown, and they tie this game up. So now we move on to the second quarter. Here is Ying throwing across the middle. He's got Tylan Wallace, the rookie, who is actually having a really good rookie season, and that's a first down. That's the thing. You got to do it, Ying. You got to get these easy passes going to open up run lanes like that one, a wide open hole for Travis Etienne, and that's a first down. So now at about the 40-yard line, here's a throw across the middle. That's actually caught by Marvin Jones, but no, it's dropped. And take a look. He actually hurts himself on that one. He goes out of the game with a hip pointer. So now here's a throw out to the right side on a 2nd and 10. There is Tylan Wallace again, and he's picking up a first down catch on that one as we move the ball to the 24. Here's pressure on the left side, but there's a throw across the middle. That's TJ Hockenson, who's going to benefit a lot from Anthony Ying at quarterback. And like I said, this is the last game of the season, so I don't know if he's going to be our starter, but definitely Ying benefits from these short passes because, I mean, our tight ends benefit from the short passes, especially Jesse James and TJ Hockenson. Here's James on the catch on the end zone. In the end zone, he's going to drop it. Can't hold on to it in triple coverage that time, but he could have. And we had to settle for the field goal as we do get the ball back before half. 3 minutes left here in the second half. Here's a handoff. Travis Etienne, another huge hole. Man, our offensive line, I really love the way they block for the run, and that's another first down. So closing in on 2 minutes. Here's a throw across the middle. That's Kenny Galladay getting open. And remember, he is returning off of injury last season. He was out for pretty much the whole entire year last year. He's filled in pretty nice here in the 3rd season. So here is Ying. Throw across to the right side, and that's Deontay Burnett. And remember, this is the first game I'm playing since, actually the second game, since I didn't show the Ravens game, but the second game since putting the sliders back to, the computer accuracy slider back to, what am I saying? The human slider for QB accuracy back to default. This is the first game. So here's a throw to the left side. There is Kenny Galladay. He is fighting in for the touchdown as Marvin Jones is out for the rest of this game. So Kenny Galladay assumes that number 1 spot as we move into halftime with a 17-7 lead. So now out here in the 3rd quarter, here is Ying scrambling out to the right side. He throws on the run, but overthrows everybody. That one was actually to Tylan Wallace, who was just running a drag route, and Ying just absolutely airmails it. And that's the thing, you know, Ying's going to have good throws, but a lot of them are going to be like that one. And that's kind of the trend we've seen with all these quarterbacks this season. As we move on to the 4th quarter, here's Kerryon Johnson with the carry up the middle, and that's a big gain of 10. Travis Etienne in the game now. I love this dual back system, and that's one of the reasons why I want to bring back Kerryon Johnson, because I like the 1-2 punch of Etienne and Kerryon. I actually like Kerryon a lot in real life as well. You see that game he had against the Chiefs, and I think that, you know, he's really, really good. And I think he's got a bright future. I mean, he's still going to be mid-20s if I do re-sign him, but I just don't want to sign him to a huge contract if we don't need to. So here is Deontay Burnett getting open across the middle of the field. That's a gain of 5 as we eventually pick up the first down. So now we don't pick up the 1st and 2nd on the next couple of plays here on a 3rd and 12. Here's a scramble out to the right side. Anthony Ying, I told you, he can run a little bit. And you can just see it here in this game. He's got 3 rushes for 31 yards. They don't account for it as we move it inside the 15-yard line here on a 1st and 10. Here's a carry. Travis Etienne is fighting forward. And I love the balance between these two backs as Kerryon Johnson checks into the game. But here's a handoff to the fullback, Nick Bawden. He's going to fight in for the touchdown. And wow, what a game from this offense. I like the way we ran. We ran efficiently. Besides that errant throw by Ying, we end up going on to win this game 24-7. A pretty flawless game on offense, in my opinion. I think that this is actually a great victory here on the road versus, you know what? I mean, a pretty good offense. Kyler Murray is dangerous running the ball, and I don't know what his ratings are like now because he's in year 3 now, and we actually shut him down. He had an interception, no touchdown passes, and we ran the ball well. 15 carries for Kerryon, 13 for Travis Etienne, and they both go over 50 yards rushing as Tylan Wallace has a good game from the slot, and then Marvin Jones gets knocked out of the game, and effectively that might actually end his season as we wait to see our fate, because since we won this game, we ended the season on a 4-game winning streak. So now we have to wait and see if the Bears will lose this final game. If they do, we're in. So here is the scenario. They are playing the Minnesota Vikings at 2-13. Remember, they are quarterbacked by Matthew Stafford. So wow, I'm glad we didn't re-sign him because he's not doing well with the Vikings. Let's see the result. So the Bears end up winning by 7 points. Wow. So we end up simming that game, and wow, the Bears barely come out with the victory to snag the division, and that is going to end our season. Mitch Trubisky throws for 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's a really Mitch Trubisky game. 227 yards. I mean, you never see that guy throw for a lot of yards. And Dalvin Cook has a decent game. Adam Thielen goes over 100, but they cannot get the victory. How did the Vikings go 2-14 with that offense? I mean, that is just terrible. So we do finish 9-7. I mean, just banking off, just building off what we saw in the previous episodes, going on that 6-game losing streak. We actually end up over 500, so that's actually pretty good. Credit that to the 4-1 start we started with in the beginning of this season. So that does end our season. We are moving into our 3rd offseason, our 4th season overall. And just taking a look at our team here as a whole. I think that Stick is going to still possibly stay on our team. But if we do get a replacement, he might have some trade value. I might try to trade him. He's been traded once already in this series coming to us. Might have to do it again. Our running attack is definitely a question we'll need to answer with Travis Etienne, Kerryon Johnson, and now we still have Jamal Williams under contract as well. But then we have Kennedy Brooks as well. That's kind of a developmental running back as well. We don't even know what dev trait he's going to end up being. So I'll look at that in the offseason. But looking at our receivers, Marvin Jones went over 1,000 yards for the 3rd straight year. Took a step back in touchdowns, only 7 this year, but still had a pretty good season. TJ Hockenson went over 900 yards, and Tylan Wallace went over 800. He's a star development, still only 21 years old. He's got a bright future ahead of him. I'm excited to see what he's going to develop into. Kenny Golladay has a good bounce back year, 66 receptions, 5 touchdowns, 645 yards, not bad for him. ETN catches the ball well out of the backfield, and he was in on primarily all the shotgun plays when we had, when we were from the shotgun and 3rd down situations. Jelani Tavai has himself an amazing season. I mean, look at this, 93 tackles total, 65 solo, 9 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, 4 pass deflections. I mean, what a year. I mean, that's just amazing. Rich Patton has a pretty good rookie season as well. I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the top for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Remember, Jelani Tavai won it in Season 1. Samson Ebukam, I'm saying that wrong. It's Ebukam. I watched him say it. He actually had 5 sacks, which is kind of disappointing, but he actually freed up lanes for Trey Flowers. 13.5 sacks this season. I mean, a huge year for him. Now, I do want to talk about a couple of guys that we're going to have to consider here going into the offseason. Deshaun Hand is up for a contract extension. Now, remember, he is still in his mid-20s, 82 overall, good block shedding. He's really good. But the issue with that is that do we use that money that we would use to pay him on somebody else to maybe even boost this secondary? Because we do have capable guys of replacing him. Samson is one, but also Sean Chapman. You forget about Sean Chapman. He was our third-round draft pick 2 drafts ago, and he actually is pretty good. Remember, he led our team in sacks in his rookie season. He actually was tied with, I believe, Trey Flowers, and he actually took a step back because now we signed Samson, and he kind of took some playing time away from him. But it's just something to keep in the back of your mind. Do we re-sign Deshaun Hand? But I think we have the depth to replace him. But I honestly want to kind of get another cornerback. I think cornerback is our biggest need right now, to be honest. I think quarterback and cornerback are our biggest needs. Rich Patton had a pretty good season, though. I do want to kind of build this defense around Rich Patton and Jelani Tavai, and also still in the secondary. I still want to keep Quandre Diggs around, and also Big Play Slay is still going to be a lifelong Lion. Now, Amani Oruwariye we've had since the first season. He was drafted by the Lions, but he just has not progressed at all. I think he started out this series at 68. He's only at 73. I think it's time to let him walk in free agency. I just don't think it's been a good fit, and I think that it's time to move on. And that's all right because, we do want to kind of replenish, rebuild, and keep adding talent to the roster. So let's look at the awards now. Todd Gurley wins Offensive Player of the Year in the NFC, and Khalil Mack actually wins Defensive Player for the second straight year, which isn't surprising at all, to be honest. DeAndre Swift wins Offensive Rookie of the Year as ETN and Tylan Wallace finished 3rd and 4th. Pretty good for our rookies. And then defensive-wise, remember Devontae Cruz was actually that guy that the Giants drafted. He ended up being like 80 overall. They snagged him, but then Rich Patton ends up 2nd, so I'm not too mad about that. So in the NFC, Gurley wins Best Running Back. Amari Cooper wins Best Receiver. Marvin Woods won that last year. Best Defensive Lineman goes to Aaron Donald. Trey Flowers finishes 2nd, so pretty good bounce back year from him. Good things going forward. And then Best DB, Quandre Diggs finishes 3rd here, which is actually surprising. I didn't think he had that good of a year, but I guess he did. And then Jason Sanders finishes 3rd with Best Kicker. So next episode, we will be moving on to the offseason. I know you guys have been clamoring for me to draft a quarterback, and I think that's the plan right now. I think I'm going to go after one of those top quarterbacks. Don't know who yet, but I know you guys want one guy, and I'm not going to say his name, but you guys know who he is, and we'll see, because I kind of want him to be honest. So I think we have a lot of holes to fill, cornerback. I still think we do have a receiver hole to fill as well because we don't have that depth. You see, if Marvin Jones were to go down going into the playoffs, we wouldn't have had anybody there to really take his spot and really do well. So we'll see. Going into the offseason, we got a bunch of questions to answer, so you guys don't want to miss that. Hit subscribe, hit that like button, stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.